Hey there! If you want to stay updated with the latest news, make sure you follow S News to catch this and all our future videos. And, don't forget to support us by subscribing, liking and leaving a comment. It really helps us out. A hypersonic missile was launched from Yemen and, well, it travelled thousands of kilometres, directly targeting Ben Gurion Airport in Israel. It didn't come from Iran or Hezbollah, but from the Houthis, a militia group that, honestly, many have underestimated. They've vowed to keep attacking until Gaza is freed from the blockade. Meanwhile, the more powerful Arab countries have just stayed silent. So, what makes this small group so determined and effective in striking the heart of Israel? Tensions between Israel and the Houthi group in Yemen flared up again after 2 commercial ships reportedly sank in the Red Sea. These ships were believed to be carrying logistical supplies for Israel and its allies in the region. The attack wasn't a surprise. It was part of an ongoing maritime campaign aimed at disrupting Israeli trade routes. The Houthis declared that the Red Sea is no longer a neutral zone, but part of the battlefield in their fight against Israel's military campaign in Gaza. Hitting the ships was seen as a strategic move to pressure Israel economically by targeting a sector that was, until now, considered safe. Israel responded quickly and forcefully, launching a direct airstrike on Yemen's western port of Hodeidah. According to Israeli sources, the strike targeted drone launch sites and logistics centers tied to the Houthis. Warplanes reportedly hit weapons depots, logistical containers, and a key dock used for operations. However, for Yemenis and the Houthi movement, the airstrike was a serious escalation. Hodeidah port isn't just a military supply line. It's also the main entry point for humanitarian aid to millions of civilians suffering from war. The attack was viewed not only as a military strike, but also a violation of Yemen's sovereignty. So it wasn't surprising that just hours later, the Houthis responded with a major strike on Israel. On July 21st, 2025, the Houthis announced a large-scale retaliatory operation, calling it a special military mission. They launched waves of drones and missiles at key targets in Israel, including Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv, Eilat Port, Ramon Airport, and strategic sites in Ashdod. They declared the mission a success. Houthi military spokesperson Yahya Sari said all targets were hit, and that Israel's main airport had been disabled. On July the 22nd, the group announced the launch of another missile, this time a Palestine II hypersonic ballistic missile, that hit Ben Gurion Airport again, forcing thousands of Israeli civilians to take shelter. This marked a major turning point. For the first time, a group from outside Israel's northern border, like Lebanon, managed to hit a critical Israeli location from the south, from Yemen. The attack also demonstrated that the Houthis aren't just a local militia, but a military force capable of carrying out precise cross-border operations. Their success was closely tied to the kind of weapons and tech they used. The Houthis combined suicide drones and ballistic missiles to overwhelm Israel's defenses. Drones like the KF-2K and White One flew at low altitudes, evading radar and hitting targets with accuracy. More surprisingly, they now rely on the locally made hypersonic Palestine II drone, which uses Iranian technology. It's estimated to reach speeds between Mach 5 and 10, with enough precision to damage large infrastructure like airports. Israel has advanced air defenses, Iron Dome, David Sling and Arrow 3, but the constant simultaneous attacks created gaps in these systems. The Iron Dome, designed to intercept short-range rockets, was overwhelmed by drones and ballistic missiles hitting at once. Systems like Arrow 3 also require extremely fast response times and real-time data that aren't always available in fast-paced combat. So it's no surprise that several missiles broke through and hit their targets inside Israel. This is a serious wake-up call for Tel Aviv. The threat no longer just comes from Gaza or Lebanon. It's also coming from the Red Sea, from Yemen, a place once seen as too far away to pose any real danger. The Houthi attacks aren't just retaliation for Gaza or the Hodeidah airstrike. They're part of a longer-term strategy to open a new front against Israel from the south. In every statement, they've made it clear. They'll keep attacking until their goals are met. The blockade on Gaza has been lifted and the military assault has stopped. The Houthis described their fight as a religious, moral and humanitarian duty. There were no negotiations or compromises involved. What made the situation even more strategic was that major Arab countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Egypt started softening their stance toward Israel. Despite this, the Houthis became the loudest voice standing up for Palestine, even while facing their own civil war and economic sanctions. It's a major twist in the Middle East's geopolitical map. Yemen, once seen only as a war-torn victim, has now emerged as an active player in reshaping the resistance movement against Israel. One of the biggest strategic blows to Israel was the long-term closure of the Eilat port. The Houthi missile and drone attacks didn't just hit military infrastructure, they struck Israel's vital maritime trade routes in the Red Sea. Once those were shut down, Israel's southern import and export traffic came to a halt, sparking a nationwide logistics crisis. This wasn't just payback, it was a clear message. If you blockade Gaza, we'll blockade you back. Now Netanyahu is facing growing pressure from Yemen, a country that was previously overlooked in Israel's military strategy. And then, a surprising moment came from the world of sports. Atletico Madrid's official TikTok account posted a video playing Yemen's national anthem, Zomel. The video went viral instantly and racked up millions of views. Many thought it was fake, but it turned out to be real. It came straight from the club's official account. Soon, the name Ansar, or Houthis, was trending on various platforms. The video was seen as a symbolic show of global support for Yemen and Gaza's struggles, and it pushed back against the dominant Western narrative about who the real aggressors are. Right now, Gaza is going through one of the darkest chapters in modern Palestinian history. The question is no longer if people will die from bombs, but if they'll starve to death. Since May 27th, over 1,000 people in Gaza have died just trying to get food aid. At the same time, dozens of children have died from hunger and dehydration due to the full blockade, backed logistically by the United States. This is no longer just a military conflict, it's becoming a genocide playing out in front of the world. Hamas and the Houthis are resisting not just on the ground, but morally and symbolically. They've openly condemned Arab countries, calling them out for staying silent. In powerful statements heard from Sana'a to Gaza, resistance leaders said the silence of the Arab world amounts to direct collaboration with Israel. Yahya Saree, the Houthi military spokesman, shouted, "If you can't defend your religion, defend your Arab identity, and if that's too much, then at least defend your humanity." Iran and Turkey praised the statement, increasing diplomatic pressure on Arab governments. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan both condemned Israel's actions, calling them a modern-day Holocaust. They urged the Muslim world to stop being submissive. The tension has now split the region into two camps, one pushing back on Israel with real consequences, and the other remaining silent behind pointless negotiations. Meanwhile, the threat of further escalation is growing. "You're not alone in your military drills," one message warned, referring to joint maneuvers involving 80,000 troops. If Gaza is bombed again, a new front will open. This would widen the conflict from Gaza to the Red Sea and possibly to other parts of the Middle East. Still, there's a chance to calm things down. If international pressure from ordinary people and bold nations manages to force Israel to end the assault and lift the blockade, a ceasefire could happen. But as long as the genocide continues and the Arab world remains silent, voices like the Houthis will keep getting louder. Finally, I just want to thank you all for listening and for being here with us. Don't forget to follow S News and keep an eye out for future videos. If you can, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. It really helps, and well, we appreciate it.